And he's like, well, power helps you play better golf. And I'm like, okay, fine. But Hogan's left knee moved to his left foot and outside of it. So did Sam Snead. So did Jack Nicklaus's. And he'd say, well, it didn't early. It began in 67, blah, blah, blah. But I'll go through and I'll show him all the video. So he and I have come to an impasse on this. So, you know, Rory just started working with Pete Cowan, right? And so, you know, to speak with anatomical precision, yeah, you learn from Lucas, you learn from Kelvin. You know, you learn a lot from, you know, another friend of mine, but he's an irascible fella. Name's Jeff Martin. I mean, I like Jeff, but man, he's an irascible.
You thought we follow him.
Oh, he's an irascible fella. But I tell you,
the only thing is I can say about Jeff, and I see, because the guy's smart as hell. I mean, I can tell the guy's beyond intelligent. Is that until you teach, though, and that's where he gets picked on, until you teach, you don't really understand how difficult it is, and it is really, really, really hard. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's massively hard. And so, look, I love debating Jeff, and I debate Lucas. Like Lucas, I get kind of tips because Lucas, he will argue that, you know, that the left hip should stay inside the left foot, right?
Uh-huh.
And that left knee should stay in internal rotation all the way through. It's very important. I'm like, okay, but every single great player, the left knee gets over the left foot, if not to the outside of it, early in the downswing. And he'd say, well, it's still an internal rotation. And I said, looks external. He's like, no, it's internal. Let me show you why. And okay, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All right, but he still wants, if that happens, the left hip doesn't stay as far inside the left foot as he would like it. And then he'll use Jamie Sadlowski. And I'm like, oh, hold on a second. You say that you want to teach the greatest swings of all time, but you're giving me Jamie Sadlowski. And he's like, well, Jamie Sadlowski's the fastest of all time and I'm like, okay, I get that. But I'm talking about golf. I'm talking about playing golf.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, power helps you play better golf. And I'm like, okay, fine. But Hogan's left knee moved to his left foot and outside of it. So did Sam Snead. So did Jack Nicklaus's. And he'd say, well, it didn't early. It began in 67, blah, blah, blah. But I'll go through and I'll show him all the video. So he and I have come to an impasse on this. So, you know, Rory just started working with Pete Cowan, right?
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Pete Cowan, if you know. We don't know too much about him.
So Pete Cowan's a mysterious figure, and he doesn't post about what he works on.
Uh-huh.
None of his players talk about what they work on. You can find a few videos. There's a spiral staircase, and it's pretty good commentary. But you're not going to be able to find much on Pete Cowan because he's very secretive about what he teaches. And I don't even know how to sum him up, but he talks a lot about the structure of the backswing. He talks a lot about the structure of the right shoulder if you're a right-handed golfer, trail shoulder. He talks about the structure of the hands over the shoulder. He talks a lot about things happening in sequence. You know, sequence is a big deal for him. But he does believe that the left knee for a right-handed golfer, so the lead knee, should move up to the lead foot and even get beyond it. So this is something that I think Rory, when he starts talking about how he got a little off track with Bryson, trying to go down that path of Bryson, trying to pick up speed. Because one of the ways you can pick up speed, obviously, is to get behind the golf ball, have very little lateral motion, and begin to elevate and rotate very quickly, faster, okay? I think Phil Mickelson's done this to increase his club head speed, but at the same time, his accurate iron play fell off just like that. He went from being 6th in strokes gained approach to 130th, right? Because all of a sudden he's not covering it to whatever extent he could.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened with Rory. But I think Pete, I know Pete has got him thinking about his left knee moving up over his left foot, which has got him just a hint more moving laterally, and it's helped his iron play a little bit. These are highly nuanced things, and that's why your job and why I respect what y'all do so much.
I know.
It's so nuanced, it's so delicate, and a great player can lose their game pretty quickly.
I know,
because it's such a fine line.
This year has been super.